Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page right here at Facebook. It is Friday, December 28th, and it is in the afternoon here in Tomah, Wisconsin, and I'm broadcasting from Star Nation's Academy. We live about an hour east of the Mississippi and we're right at the edge of what's called the Driftless region. Yeah, the Driftless region. And for those in Wisconsin and maybe even a bit of Minnesota, you'll recognize that phrase. The Driftless region is actually an area that in the last 3 ice ages, the glaciers went around. So we didn't have any glacier action through this area. And let me tell you, it does change the topography quite a bit. That's why we have a lot of bluffs and what they call coulees here, and valleys and that sort of thing. Yeah, but it's really kind of a cool place. Yeah, those we have natural vortexes all throughout here because of that glacier missing us 3 times, and you could be walking along and you're going, what was that? I just felt something. Well, generally speaking, it could be a vortex. They're not like huge vortexes like they have out in Sedona, but we do have them. This is the one place in Wisconsin that I can get turned around in. I'm really good with my sense of direction. I usually ask my spiritual team, where's east, right? And they'll show me. But there's times when I'm thinking, where's east? And it's hard to locate. It's hard to locate. Really have to slow down, really have to get quiet, and then sense it. You can't do it on the fly here, that's for sure. So anything, that's where we are, on the edge of the Driftless region. We are in the Driftless region, just kind of on the eastern edge of it. So before we get rolling too far along, I'm going to like and share the broadcast. And I would like to ask you to do the same thing, to like it and to share it. And I'm going to do it over to my news feed. And just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. Oops, got to spell right. That would help. And ask him to please join. There we go. And we'll send it over there. Okay. There. Yeah, I adjusted my screen just a little bit. We'll see if it shows up on the live stream. So, there's some of us still, or maybe because some people are still in a 9-to-5, right? Which is, really great. But it's Friday. And so I haven't done a 9-to-5 we've been here for 12 years. So pretty close to 12 years. And I still get that feeling. It's like, yay, Friday, last day of the work week, right? Yeah, the TGIF syndrome. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle's here. Just woke up. Well, okay, grab a little beverage of some sort and enjoy the rest of the show, Rochelle. Good to have you with us. Yeah, I was just want to make sure that my camera's adjusted enough here. There we go. Okay, good. And so Friday around here, it really, I still get that feeling of the TGIF. There's days though that I kind of get, what day is it? Because a lot of my days are very similar, unless there's an appointment or something like that changes things up. And so when I come on and do the live stream and I do the day and the date, sometimes I actually have to think, what day is it? What's the date? I don't know if you noticed that, but that's what I do. And I don't know if many of you get that, but yeah, it's just one of those things about being self-employed, I think, because we don't necessarily have those coworkers, right? I got to move my phone over to someplace softer so it doesn't get that buzzy sound. Okay. So, and this morning's card draw, we got 2 cards. I don't think we've had them in this particular combination before. So we'll see what Spirit has to offer for us as we share about it, right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. I just want to check something here. All right. Sometimes the comments, I don't know if they get stuck in a queue or they have to build up in the queue sometimes and then they get released. And I'm not sure if that's Facebook or if that's Be Live TV, but I just always check because sometimes it feels like it's frozen, and sometimes there's messages, posts sitting out there that I didn't see. Yeah. Okay, so here's the first card. Do you remember her? The Mirror Guardian. I think this is the card that I realized that that color blue is kind of throughout the deck. It's like a signature color blue. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, Michelle. Michelle Moonen is here, first time watcher. Well, welcome. Welcome to Star Nations. Glad to have you here. And Shauna's here too. Me too is a first time watcher. Wow. Thank you for coming, and we appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy the information. And thank you, Rochelle, for welcoming them. Yeah, so good to have first-time watchers. Well, since you're a first-time watcher, we should probably let you know what deck we're using, huh? That would really be helpful. This is the Angels and Ancestor deck, Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. And the artist is Lily Moses. And this is, for me, it's a brand new deck, brand new literally, because it was published in 2018 and released in September. I found it in August and did the pre-order. I was looking for a deck that had more of a Native American feel to it because I am Native American, and it just felt more comfortable for me to be able to do the card draws with a deck that I'm heart connected to, right? And so, and this literally jumped off the screen at me when I was going through Amazon, looking at the divination cards, and it's a Kyle is from Scotland. He lives in Glasgow, and Lily Moses is from New Zealand. But what they've done is especially Kyle, he's brought together indigenous information from all over the world. And most of it is, I would say, earth-based belief system. And so we'll have Celtic and Native American and Druid, Aboriginal, those kinds of information coming through. And one of the things that Kyle wrote about in the description of the deck of cards is that bringing forward ancient information into modern day and applying it to modern day, right? And that is so close to the mission, the vision statement that we have for Star Nations. And so it was like energy meeting like energy, right? Yeah. So I'm really enjoying this deck, and we've been using it since the end of September. So let's see. Is it a full deck? Yes, it is. There's 55 cards in this deck. And Michelle is saying that's a beautiful picture, isn't it, though? And on the inside of the box, he has guardians of the four corners, mother in the earth, father in the sky, angels, ancestors, sacred ones. I call on you and welcome you here now. That's on the inside of the box. I don't know. This is the first time I've gotten any of his cards. Now, I know I've been found out later that he does have a couple of other decks, but that's the first time I've actually seen that kind of message on the inside of the box. Michelle saying I'm Alaskan Native. Well, I'm Potawatomi. I'm an enrolled member with the Potawatomi Nation, and my reservation is in Kansas. Although I've never lived in Kansas, my Micho, my grandfather, was part of that reservation. Yeah, and my dad was Yaqui from the Yaqui Nation, although he wasn't enrolled. The Yaqui Nation wasn't recognized by the federal government until I want to say it was like in the 80s, something like that. And he was born in 1922. So yeah, that's the ancestry from that side. And Shauna is saying my ancestors are so close. I have got to learn to hear them and let them help me so I can help others. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we do here at Star Nations. Yeah, Michelle is saying I love it. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. And I have peppermint tea today. Peppermint tea. My mom asked for coffee this afternoon, and I was going to have a cup, give her cup of coffee before I left to come up here. And, at 99, she still worries, maybe I'm having too much caffeine. I'm going, Mom, you can have anything you want, anything. I'll get it for you. If you want a second cup of coffee today, I can brew you that cup of coffee. And so, yeah, so she's very happy with her cookies and coffee, her sweets and coffee this afternoon. But I didn't take the coffee. I was going to, but I already had a cup this morning. And I do love coffee though. Oh, Aleut. And okay, so in your own language, Michelle, how do you pronounce Sugipaq? Sujipak? It's probably like way off, but meaning Aleut. It's nice to have you here with us because this is a spiritual conversation. The cards that we use start the conversation. It's about the card draw that I do in the morning. I call to my spiritual team, those in spirit who assist me, right? And I ask them, the intention is that if they could please show me what's important energy flowing that we should know about today for our highest good and the highest good of all, and that we can share with others. And so that is the intention every morning. And I've been drawing cards like this, oh gosh, for years, because it was always helpful when I was first started out. I would say being awake. And so it was just helpful for me to understand how the energy was flowing that day. And so, at the end of last year, I started using a quote from the card draw and putting it on our business Instagram. And then in May, I had this brilliant idea. It's like, well, maybe Star Nation's community members would enjoy having a chat about the cards, and why don't I just do a live stream, right? And so that's what I started to do. And it is a daily live stream, although not every single day. There's days where I take, I take a weekend off. I'm the primary caregiver for my mom. And so when I can get my brothers to come over and spend time with her, I take off for like a weekend. And of course, like on holidays like Christmas and New Year's, I didn't do a live stream on those days. So, all right. Hey, Julie's here too. Julie Summerhill. So good to have you in the house, Julie. And Michelle is helping us to pronounce in their native language her people's name. So Suji, like you're trying to clear your throat. So it's G P Piak, Suji Piak. I probably wasn't even close, but thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I have to say that most Native people, Indigenous people that I've met, including my own family, a little Indian humor, we like to be called by the names that are indigenous to the land, right? Many times, like Potawatomi is not in our language. That's in the English language. In our language, it's Potawatomi, or we call ourselves Nishnabek, or Nishnabé. So I would be a Nishnabé Kwe. I would be a Native woman, right? And but Potawatomi and the Nishnabek means the people. The people, yeah. Yeah. That's right, Rob. A nice German guttural. Yes. Yes. Very similar. Very similar. So thank you for sharing that, Michelle. I appreciate that. So here's this first card that came. It is the Mirror Guardian. The Mirror Guardian. And it's take time to reflect. Take time to reflect. And she's looking into a mirror. And as you can see, the reflection in the mirror is the Milky Way. Yeah. Pretty ornate mirror, don't you think? And notice her earrings. We were talking about earrings a few times. With her earrings, when earrings are large or very long, that is about listening. It's about clear audience where you can hear spirit, right? And with the reflection, the mirror is reflecting her. And in that reflection, she's seeing the Milky Way, the stars. I love that color blue. So let's see what Kyle has to say about the Mirror Guardian. Now, like I said, we've had this a few times, and so I kind of remember. The message is take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. Recognize your gifts. So at this time of the year, when we only have like days left of 2018, right? Taking the time, even if it's just for a few minutes, and reflecting on this past year. All the things that you've accomplished, all the things that were a challenge. And really, which gifts did you use that you have? Your natural gifts, the gifts that you came in with. Which ones did you use in the accomplishments? And which ones did you use in the challenges? Because both are really about soul growth, right? And to tell you the truth, we get most of our soul growth from the challenges. I know, nobody likes to really hear that, right? It's when we actually work through something and we come out to the other side of it, right? And we've released, we've healed, we've changed, and that is soul growth, and that's life experiences, which leads to wisdom, the wisdom that we've gained, because when we go through those challenges, the wisdom is in the application of our gifts and how that turned out, right? And how we asked for help or how we didn't ask for help. And let me tell you, it used to be, you have to define success for yourself. What, right? I mean, it's good to use the dictionary definition for a place to start, but we individually have a unique definition for success. And in the old days, for me, it would have been, I'm the gold star student, right? How many of the details did I get right? And, and for some, it would have been the competition thing, winning. But, it's to be able to sit back and say, what is that for me? What does it mean to be successful? What does it mean to be successful in my physical life, in my spiritual life, in my mental and emotional, right, bodies? So it really is very individual. And if we can define that for ourselves, I think that when we sit back to do that reflection, we get a better perspective of it than using someone else's, right? Michelle's saying a very detailed picture. Yeah, it is. I tell you what, that artist, in fact, our Stephanie, who is also in the house, she just hasn't made a comment. She's Star Nation's social media manager, and she found the contact information for me so that I can contact both Kyle Gray and also the artist Lily Moses to try to see if I can get them on my weekly show to interview them. Or maybe this show. That would be good too. Okay. Oops. Thought I took that off. And Michelle's also saying, I'm awakening and found out I have a few clairs and huge empath. You come to the right place then, Michelle, because I tell you what, we certainly here at Star Nations, we certainly attract the empaths. I think it's because I am one. And so we certainly do attract. And we also, because we've walked that path for a lot of years, seeing it as a gift rather than the curse, I can't hardly say that with a straight face anymore. That we really see it as a gift. We feel it as a gift, and we learn how to use it and how to master that, right? Because it is, it's a gift that really helps so many others as well. So yeah, so you came to the right place. Yeah, I define success. Oh, you always use these words, Rob. Tell me what that means. I can't even pronounce it. Tautologically? All right, define it. Define what tautologically is for you. I think you do that on purpose to me, Rob. I could probably figure it out, but it's like, all right, we're going to get back to what Kyle has to say. Kyle goes on to say that angels accept you just the way you are. Even when you're going through a challenging time, they still hold you in the highest esteem. So even when we're having the worst day, we've all had one of those. And you might be using foul language. You might be, just throwing your own little hissy fit. It's like, I can't stand it anymore. We got to change this, and you're not exactly at your best, right? We've all had those days. We've all had those moments. And even in those moments, the angels still love us and still hold us in the high esteem. Because you know what? We're experiencing this physical life, right? In a very challenging environment. Grandmother Earth provides the platform for us to have our physical experience. And when we're experiencing this with other two-leggeds, with other humans, we can end up having quite a challenging time, right? And that's when we know that we're having this physical experience. It's just, we've all had those moments, is all I'm trying to say. And that even though we may not be at our best, and no one else may even notice it or see it, the angels still love us. They still love us. Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. She put the Wikipedia. Yeah, logic. Love it. Thank you. Michelle saying it's beautifully draining yet energizing gift. Yes, it is. It certainly is. And the thing is that when you start to learn how to use it in a way that's beneficial for everyone, it really does energize you. And you really know the difference when you're using your own energy rather than the creator energy, right? And you also know when you've allowed something to take up residence rather than passing through. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Rob. He says, tautologic. I can't even say the word, is a logical fallacy by which something is used to define itself. Okay. So you're defining yourself. Success is being successful. Okay. So that's how you define it for yourself. So it's very intellectual, which is great. So how do you define it for yourself emotionally, spiritually? Yeah, and then you take all of that and work your own definition, right? To see your own definition. It's not exactly as easy as it sounds to do, because we are how we were raised, or the belief systems that we have, that we were a part of, society, culture. Sometimes that defines success, and that's one of those beliefs that we have to look at, right? And see if it still supports us. And if it does, yay, great, go for it. But if it doesn't, then what aspect doesn't? Or maybe the whole thing doesn't. It's just something to look at, right? Logically, and it's meaningless. Okay. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Oh, yeah. The mirror guardian, a female angel looking into the mirror of life, invites you to witness your spiritual strength and beauty, to see yourself as angels do. To see yourself as the angels do. Yeah. We were talking about that the other day, weren't we? About being a divine child. Being a divine child of the creator, or of God, of the goddess. Being a divine child of grandmother earth and grandfather sky. And to be able to look into the mirror and look into your own eyes and say, I'm a divine child. I am a divine child. And we were talking about how sometimes it's hard. It's hard to do that, to look ourselves into the eyes, our own eyes, and say that and see it and mean it. It's an exercise that I think is very helpful, because it's kind of like a gauge in a way, that the first time that you do that and what it felt like, and to do it periodically to see if anything has shifted. And with your own healing work, healing those mental and emotional traumas, eventually you'll be able to get to the point where you can actually look yourself in the eye and say that statement heartfelt, right? And actually smile about it. The mirror represents the fact that your core beliefs and ideas are, in fact, what is reflected back to you by your world. I'm going to say that again. It's a fact that your core beliefs and ideas are, in fact, what is reflected back to you in your world. So if you're finding your world uncomfortable, and any of those other descriptives, that it's sad or chaotic, or any of those things, then it's a reflection of what's going on in your core values, your core beliefs, inside. And so, but if you, on the other side of that, is that if you see your world as being kind and compassionate, gentle, peaceful, joyful, that's also what's going on inside, right? Yeah. So it's just really being aware. being aware, and noticing it. Tina's saying, from what I know about the mirror, from what I know about the mirror is that take a look in the mirror and see what you have to work on yourselves. It's a healing journey. It certainly is. It certainly is, Tina. It is, like I said, it's kind of like a gauge, or, just testing the waters, testing where am I at? Just taking in, because, this is the reflection, right? And this time of year, there is a belief about, because we're heading up onto New Year's Eve, right? And making those promises of changing this or changing that, right? And we're reflecting on the past year. And so this is a good time. And, to get this card today is like Spirit is really nudging us to take a look at ourselves and what we have accomplished, and to actually see, what has happened in the past year. What is the one? This is a good question. Thank you, Tina, for sharing that. Let's see. And Rob is saying a spiritual tone, not a smart ass question for once. What is Rob? Well, if it's something, if tautology is something that defines itself, right? So how do you define yourself as a spirit? Because we're spirits having a physical experience, right? So how do you see yourself as that? And so as if the definition is defining itself, yeah, you can kind of talk yourself into a circle, which isn't such a bad thing, I suppose. But that's what I would say, because it's not a smart ass question for once. That's what I would say is if you take a moment and connect to your higher self, your soul self, and ask for your definition of being successful as a soul, what would that answer be? That's a big one. It's a deep one. Very deep. Tina says, do you see a jealous person work on that jealousy within yourself? Simple, but that work is hard. Exactly. Spot on, Tina. Exactly. And we're the only ones that can define that, right? We're the only ones that can really say that. And we have to be honest with ourselves. Yeah, that's another layer of a challenge. Because once we're honest with ourselves, it's that old saying, you can't unring a bell, right? Because once you say it out loud or say it to yourself, and you're being truthful with yourself, you can't hide from it anymore. You can't deny it anymore. And so, to me, that is a huge step into the healing work around whatever that situation is. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. And I was going to say, here's a good question. Here's a good question for everyone. And that is, when you take a look in the mirror, and you say the first positive thing that comes to you, the first positive, when you look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror, what's the first positive? Because that's the other thing us two-leggeds do, is that, and we're trained to do this, okay, from little on. We're trained to be analytical. We're trained to assess. We're trained to point out the deficits. Yeah, the things that don't measure up, right? We're trained to do that, because then we can identify what needs to be worked on, which is a good thing. but let's kind of flip this around a little bit, okay? Let's focus on what is a positive. When you look at yourself in the mirror, that's why I was asking about your definition of success. To state the positive first, you know. I have a great sense of humor. It has gotten me through a lot of challenging situations. And also, one of my gifts is listening. I'm a great listener. Those are two positives. And then we can take a look at what needs to be done, right? Yeah, exactly. It does, doesn't it? Stephanie saying sounds like an IEP meeting. Sorta, it really does. Because when I was doing a lot of teaching, George, my puppy, 5 months old, he's just stretched and pushed my leg to the other side there. All right. When I was doing a lot of teaching, I used to teach feng shui and space clearing to others and for certification courses. And I would be taking my students to do some feng shui and to critique or to do an assessment of the front door, because that's a very important piece in feng shui is the front door. And so we would go in, not my community, not my neighborhood, but into another neighborhood. And we would do drive-bys and we'd pull over and we would do the front door assessment, right? And there was one thing that I noticed, and it was almost all the way across the board with all the students, is that the critique would immediately start with what was wrong with it. What was wrong with it? What needed to be fixed, adjusted. And when I recognized that, the next time I had students I was teaching and we were doing the same exercise, I said, okay, first of all, you have to say at least one positive. What's going on well with this front door? And some people, it took a long time to look for something good. Yeah. But see, that I think that's part of our training in our society is to start with a negative. Yeah. Yeah, and Stephanie, I used to be right out of college. I was a director for a community day service for developmentally disabled adults, severely disabled, and those meetings. So, and I did the same thing there as well. And this is before I started teaching feng shui. Is like, okay, you know what? These young people, these adults have been told their entire life what they can't do. Let's see what they can do, and encourage that and nurture that. Not looking beyond or not, putting our head in the sand about something, but let's find out what they can do, what they want to do, and see if we can do that. So it's really kind of flipping it around a bit, okay? That mirror work. You got to check the time. Okay. So Kyle goes on to say that you are a beautiful being who has surmounted so many challenges and expanded in so many ways. Your angels are now guiding you to take inventory of your life, to take the time to note all of your recent experiences, the challenges you've surmounted, the strengths you have developed, and the lessons you have learned. Your angels want you to reflect on your strengths, in particular, those aspects of yourself that you feel have not been acknowledged by others. Offer your approval where it's due, and know that when you give yourself credit, others will be able to do so as well. He also says that when the card appears, you're being invited to take some time to see where you are right now. Right now. So it's reflection, the mirror guardian. Yeah. And to actually, just to notice, take note of what your world looks like, your immediate world looks like to you, because that's a reflection of what's going on inside. If you're feeling frustrated or you see frustration out there, that's what's going on inside. If you see peace or you see kindness out there, that's what's going on inside, right? Yeah. So Spirit's asking us just to take a moment to do some reflection and spend some time on the wisdom, really, the wisdom that you've gained through those life lessons as we head into 2019. This is the second card that came. Snake. Now, in some cultures across the world, having a snake appear in anything would be unsettling, very uncomfortable, depending on what your belief systems are, right? Some would think that this is, the devil or what, some other name that's given to that entity. Or it's about transformation. Or it's about power. It depends on your belief system. Yeah. There's I remember the first time I ever saw an Apache ceremony. I think it was Apache. Yeah, it was Apache. And they were actually doing calling for rain, because they live in a very arid climate. And they were calling for rain. And in that ceremony, they used snakes, and it's not that, they literally picked them up and held them during the ceremony. And so I think it depends on, your belief system. Whereas my mom, she has such a fear of snakes. She'd be thinking the worst thing, for somebody to be using a snake in a ceremony. It depends on what your belief system is. I happen to believe that they are about transformation. They are about strength, right? Change. And Stephanie is saying, I have come across both cobra and rattlesnake in the wild before. Very powerful moments. Yes. Let me tell you, they certainly also teach you about respect, don't they? They teach you about respect. It's one of the things, anyway. There are. They are one of our relatives. If you have the belief that everything is related, that everything in the universe is related, that we are connected, then that we are also connected to. But that's a different worldview, don't you think? So there again, we go back to our beliefs. And so the snake on the card says, shed old skin. Shed, S-H-E-D, shed old skin. The message is cast off the old. Reveal your true colors, talents, and gifts to the world. Reveal your true talents and gifts, your true colors to the world. He goes on to say, in many spiritual traditions, the snake offers powerful medicine. In tantric teachings, it symbolizes the Kundalini, which is the powerful serpentine energy within that allows you to reach your highest spiritual potential. When the sacred ones saw a snake in nature or encountered one in a dream, they knew that there was transformation in the air. For me, that would be Kyle, the snake card not only represents the shedding of old skin, but moving beyond the limitations caused by carrying the venom of negative thoughts about others or about the past. Okay. So, about revealing ourselves, our true self, and our true divine gifts. And hasn't this has been a theme for weeks now in these card draws. It's all been about the application of our gifts and the healing that we do around our personal traumas and emotional and mental traumas, so that we can remove the interference and the debris, the blockages, so that we have more access to our gifts, so we can apply them more, right? But it also affects our intuition. We have more access to our intuition, and we believe in ourselves. Our self-confidence goes up. Yeah. And so this has been a theme all for weeks now. And so when we're reading about how the snake is about transformation and about revealing our true gifts to the world, it's about doing our soul work. Yeah, completing our soul contract, right? What's Rob got to say? He says, if the Jewish interpretation of the snake is similar to the Hindu, then Christianity has drifted into severe error centuries ago and led the entire faith to a dark place. Augustine actually defined original sin based upon this, and Martin Luther brought that to the Protestants. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, is the belief systems, right? Yeah. Yeah, and that's not the only time I have ever questioned about, said, I wonder if that's really completely true. Given that we now know how the Bible was put together, the selection was made, and who made the selections of what got into the Bible and what didn't. But I also question that about my own culture. What was real tradition prior to colonialism, prior to the missionaries? Is what we're hearing or seeing or doing really what our ancestors did prior to? And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of years. Some 700 years, some is 500 years. And I know it's not quite the thousands of years that Rob is talking about, but it's very similar. That's why I think that what's important for us to take a look at our belief systems and really what is supporting us, what's supporting our soul work here, and keeping those that are supporting us. But if they're not supporting us, then, discerning for ourselves what aspects of it don't support us and letting that go, and keeping the aspects that do. There's so many. And I say, even if you take one, the one that probably makes you kind of go, I don't know about that, is to really take a look at that one and spend some time with that one. That might be the only one you ever have to do. But I think it's important for our soul growth to do that, to take the time to do that. All right, so Kyle goes on to say that the energy of renewal is washing over your life at this time. For some reason, you feel that your true self hasn't been recognized, or you've been misread by others. Know this energy is now leaving you. As you've been working through your old stories and all the self-limiting beliefs that you've accumulated along the way, you've been peeling away a shield of skin that has created limiting experiences. Your own personal commitment to growth has been recognized, and now the external world will begin to reflect all of the work that you've been doing within. If you feel someone you love has misunderstood you, especially recently, they will be able to see beyond that you're willing to recognize your own challenges. This is a time for renewal, abundance, and connection. Let yourself be reborn and celebrated. Hmm, I think that's a good one. Rob is saying, anyone who wants to discuss original sin, PM me. I won't keep blabbing. Oh my gosh. Well, and that's a deep conversation, that's for sure. And thank you for offering that, Rob. Um, so, if you take a look at these two cards together, right? If you take a look at these two cards together, and we're talking about taking time to reflect and then shedding the old, right? This is the feeling that I have about this, is that Spirit is encouraging us to do that reflective work, to see where we have used our gifts to overcome a challenge, to gain the wisdom from that life lesson, to do the reflection, what have we gained? And what to let go. What to let go. And the snake is allowing us to do that transformation, and that letting go is revealing our true self. The application of our gifts for our soul growth. And really, to have a full life, not a half life, not a 3/4 life, but a full life. Yeah, and we have that ability to do that. But as Tina said, it's hard work. It can be. But if we're aware of the opportunities that are being shown to us, given to us, and sometimes those opportunities do come as challenges, that if we're aware and we can see them when they're little, right? They can actually be fun. They can actually have some joy attached to it. It's when we dismiss them, ignore them, hide from them, when we resist, that's when it gets hard. That's when it becomes more than a challenge, right? Yeah, we're talking about that cosmic 2x4. Those are no fun. None. And so if we can be more self-aware and aware of what's going on around us in our life, and taking the opportunities and those challenges that our spiritual team is really bringing to us, to give us that soul growth, yeah, it can be fun. It can be. I've experienced both. Both is like, having fun in meeting that challenge and feeling good about it. And I've also done the other, where I resisted, had to deal with the cosmic 2x4. Unfortunately, at least on 2 occasions. And I have to say, I'd rather do it the other way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have experienced that too. And honestly, though, even with the one with the cosmic 2x4, that is really the one that, those two are the ones that brought the most soul growth. Yeah. The last one really changed my life a lot. And for the better, I have to say, for the better. But going through it was emotionally painful. And when I reflect back on that, that was because I was in pure resistance, really digging my heels and saying, no, I don't want to go that way. Yeah. But we got through it. George. Yeah, he finally moved. Now I can actually put my feet in front of me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is the card draw for today. And we get another chance, right? Another opportunity. And I know that sometimes it feels like it takes time, right? And we're all so busy. It's like, when am I supposed to do this? you know, honestly, it doesn't have to take you a half a day. It doesn't even have to take you an hour. It could just take you a few minutes if you just sit down, because we all take those short breaks, right? When you have a cup of tea or just making time, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and sit down and get grounded. Hey, I didn't ask. Who grounded today? Did their grounding? Um, and just do some reflection. You know, yeah, it doesn't have to take a long period of time, not unless you have the time, and then do a full meditation with it, right? Yeah, you could do that too. Tina's saying, for my healing, it was hard. Having the spiritual help was hard also because it was hard to interpret what spirit is showing you. Yeah, it can be. It can be. Um, having, see, I really use my spiritual team a lot. When something happens and I don't understand it, it's like, wait a minute, what's this about? No, really, you have to help me really understand this. If I'm supposed to do something and it's my side of the street to take care of, then I want to know about it and as clear as possible with the clarity and help me to find a next best step to do that. And so I talk to them a lot. I do. It's like, yeah. But when you're right in the middle of one of those cosmic 2x4 situations, I don't know why we do this. Why do we do this? We forget. We forget our tools. We forget our spiritual team. We forget our gifts. And that's why it's good to have your inner circle, your close friends, close family that you can turn to, and they can remind you. They can ask you, did you do your grounding today? Did you smudge? Did you give tobacco? Did you go to church? Whatever it is, they can remind you. And especially when you're first learning how to use your empath gift. Yeah, that's crucial. Oh, yay. Good for you, Stephanie. Did her grounding today. And so did Julie. Yay. Yay. I have to say that when we're grounded and centered, the day goes so much easier, I think. So I'm looking at the time. We're at the top of the hour. I wanted to say that whatever resonated with you today with the card reading, is please, embrace it and notice how the energy for the day flows for you and where you can actually use the information, whether it's you're a direct participant or maybe you're a witness, right? Yeah, it's all good. But if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. Just let it go, let it lie. You don't have to do anything with it at all. Maybe you're a messenger. Maybe you know somebody who would enjoy the kind of conversation, the information. You can just share the link with them, and then you're done. Yeah. And guess what? We are going to be playing trivia. Star Nations trivia. We're going to be playing 3 rounds. One on New Year's Eve day. That's Monday. New Year's Eve day. And we will be doing 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern. We'll be doing an hour of trivia that afternoon. That's the first round. And there's prizes for the winner, too. And the second round is New Year's Eve evening at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We'll do an hour and a half. I'm hoping some of the show hosts will be joining me just to pop in and say hi and wish you guys a happy new year. And we'll be playing that second round, from 8 to 8:30. I mean, getting my times wrong. 8 to 9:30. That's an hour and a half Eastern time. And then we'll do the third round, the final round on New Year's Day at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so come and join us. It's going to be fun. Stephanie, thank you, Stephanie, for all the hard work that you've been putting into that. And so we'll be asking questions. It's all about Star Nations. So it's all about the shows, the magazine, the academy, the publishing. It's going to be fun. Yeah, and even if you just want to come out and hang out with us, that'd be good too. Tina's saying empath is hard because for me, it makes me sick, blurry-eyed and dizzy. Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that. What we could do is we could do a mini class at the closed group academy about empath and how to work with it, how to be with it. It's only going to be an hour, so we can, we have to really because working that is a huge field of information. But maybe what I can do is ask Polly Jo if she'd join me with that one. Okay, well, we can see what we can do. All right, and Rob is saying I took my flu meds. Well, that's good. Tina is because people around me have such negative energy. That can happen. Can't get that one off. There it goes. Yeah. We'll talk about that because there's things that you can do. Making sure that you have your protective field up for one. That's the big one. Okay. And the filters that go with that. And so we can certainly talk about that one because I think we have a few tips that can help you, Tina. And Rob is saying, do we have to answer in the form of a question and call you Alex? No. No, you can just state the answer. In fact, Stephanie is going to be helping me with tracking the answers and who actually comes in. Because it's only good. You see, in the studio that I'm producing, right, I can see the time frames of when somebody actually makes a post. Yeah. So, for instance, Rob, your post was brought in exactly at 3 o'clock, 1500. And then your next one was 1501. The worst are those who know it and do it anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so Tina says, I just stay close to home. Yeah, well, yeah, but that's hiding. That's hiding out too. And you can't use your gifts. You can't be of service to other people and work your soul contract if you're hiding. And so to be able to help as best we can anyway, to give you information that might be helpful to you so that you can actually use that gift and work it. Yeah. Tina says, I have to learn to protect myself now. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because being an empath is actually big medicine. Not everybody can carry the medicine of being an empath. And not everyone is an empath. Although everyone has the ability to sense energy, the empath actually feels it and feels the emotions. Okay. And so, yeah, we'll work with that. We'll work with that. So enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central for tomorrow's daily live stream and the card draw. And I hope you can join us for the trivia too. That'll be fun. Bring some popcorn. It's too bad we can't share it across, right? All right. So enjoy yourselves. And Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.